Hi, this is Nick from Tilta. Today we're going to take a look at how to assemble the Zombie Rig. To start the process, we'll need to prepare our mixing bag. The system is going to come with options for both Orca and K-Tech bags. A full list can be found on our website of compatible models of bags, but for this example, we're going to be using an Orca bag as well as the Orca adapter bracket, which is pretty much an L bracket with some hooks as well as some Velcro on the top and bottom. So in order to attach this bracket, we're first going to need to open up the side of our bag and then fully expose the inside inner wall and then lift up the Velcro from both the bottom and that top piece of the bag. Then this bracket simply slides in and kind of locks into place with the Velcro, and then you can use the bottom of that inner wall to kind of further secure that bracket. And the same thing on the top. This can be adjusted. You want to get it so it covers that top ridge, press it down into place, and then use the Velcro of the bag's divider to kind of hold everything in place. From there, you can use a flathead screwdriver to tighten the screws on the bracket itself, making sure it's nice and secure. And then you can zip back up the side of the bag. Next, we're going to open up this smaller pocket, revealing the mounting points on the bracket for our baby pin adapter. This baby pin adapter is going to mount directly to the side, and it's going to be the main support for our boom pole. You can use an Allen key to quickly secure these screws. Keep in mind, this is just a standard baby pin, meaning if you are trying to use the system without a mixing bag, we are going to give an example of how you could do so at the end of this video. You'll notice on the baby pin adapter, you have two adjustment knobs which affect the position of the baby pin. We'll take a closer look at how this affects operation later in the video. But for now, all we need to do is zip up the inner pouch, making sure we leave a little bit of space for the baby pin to stick out, and the bag is all ready to go. Next, we'll move on to assembling the boom pole. So we're now going to take a look at how to set up the boom pole. The first piece we're going to need is the docking bracket, which is going to be the foundation for balancing and also holding the boom pole when it's not being used. This is going to connect to any baby pin and then tighten down with the toggle on the back. Next, we're going to pull out our boom pole. We're using a K-Tech boom pole with an integrated XLR. Although not completely necessary to use the system with an integrated XLR, we definitely recommend it as it makes balancing a little bit easier. That can sit right in the bracket there. And then we can use these pins to lock the boom pole into place. And this will just prevent it from tipping in either direction while we're building it. Next, we're going to use a pair of calipers to measure the diameter of this boom pole in order to select the proper shim. This can also be done via trial and error, as there are a variety of shims available. We're then going to attach the first piece, which is the boom support bracket. This is going to use a shim in order to snugly fit on the boom pole. So we're first going to attach our shim, making sure that the edge is facing away from how this slides on. And then going to run the XLR through. And then as close as we can get to our staging side, we're going to slide this over the shim, using a little bit of force, making sure it's snug, and then clamping that in place with the clamp. Keeping in mind, if this needs to be tightened, you can do so with an Allen key. And then just to make sure that that is secure, you're going to rotate the boom pole, making sure that that inner element rotates with it. Next, we're going to attach the operating bracket. This is going to attach very similarly, however, it's going to use one of the smaller half shims. So we're going to want to get this as far to the back of the boom pole as we can, leaving a little bit of space. And then similarly, we're going to slide that on, give it a little bit of force, and then clamp that down into position. Similar test, give the bottom piece a little spin, essentially making sure that it is a snug fit between the shim and the module itself. Next, we're going to put on an optional accessory. This is an XLR protection bracket. This is going to be really useful if you are using a boom pole with an integrated XLR cable. It's going to connect in the exact same way at the very end. We're going to first put on our shim, open that clamp, and then clamp that down into position at the very end. And again, testing by rotating the entire boom pole. The next piece is the mic holder, which we already have an XLR microphone connected to. This is going to connect via a 3/8 thread. Keep in mind, you can use third-party microphone holders for the system. However, this holder does include an adjustable slide, which is going to help a little bit with balance. Definitely not necessary, but it'll make the whole process a little bit easier, especially when you're first starting out. Then we're going to attach the first of our poles to the system. This is going to be the operating pole, which is going to connect to the operating bracket via a pin. Just slide that in there. And then we're going to attach a little bit of counterweight to the 1/4-20 on the bottom. We're going to recommend using at least 2 pieces of counterweight. However, that's going to depend on the total length of the boom pole, how much counterweight you will need. Once you're strapped into your mixing bag and preferably support vest, you're ready to attach the final piece of the system, which is the support pole. To do this, you're going to want to adjust your baby pin, making sure that it is sticking far enough out to connect to the support pole, and then you can readjust, making sure it's as close to the bag as possible and also as relatively straight as possible. We can then zip that up, and we're ready to pick up the boom pole. As you can see, we raised our C-stand a little bit to make it a bit easier to dock in and out of this, as well as we have returned the boom pole to the docking stage. All we'll need to do is dip down similar to a Steadicam, connect that pin, and then once connected, we can secure the toggle to lock it. From there, all we need to do is gently lift up, clear the docking bracket, and we're ready to operate the system. Operating it is pretty intuitive. You can rotate the operating pole to rotate the microphone left and right. And then to lift up and down, all you need to do is raise that same pole up or down. Keep in mind, you don't have to keep a hand on this. You also have 2 adjustment knobs if you do need to raise or lower the height. And because you don't need to keep a hand on this, you are able to mix simultaneously while adjusting the boom pole. As mentioned previously, the system does utilize a fairly common baby pin connection, meaning it is not very difficult to mount the system to a lighter weight vest such as this if you're in the situation where you are just operating the boom and not mixing audio. We're hoping to release a first-party solution soon, but for now, this is an idea of what it would look like to operate the system without a mixing bag. That was a closer look at the Zombie Rig. I'm Nick from Tilta. Thanks for watching.